So in this week for Detroit sports, we have the Pistons continue their great tank. The Red Wings still continue their collapse from March. And the Tigers season officially gets underway as baseball season is now officially upon us. And the Tigers were so great this week that they completely took the opening spotlight away from the Red Wings, which completes the cycle because I gave the Pistons their own spotlight to start the year. I think I might have gave the Wings theirs. I don't think so. I'll have to double check. And the Lions, of course, obviously got their own spotlight to start the season. But yeah, only fitting the Tigers get their own spotlight to start the season too. But yeah, anyway, let's see how Detroit sports fared this week.
Detroit basketball!
With the Pistons this week, nothing else to see here. Still tanking from miles on end outside of a win against Washington in a tank bowl game. As the Pistons nearly blew a 20-point lead in the second half against Washington. Let's be honest, I think the Pistons, man, we only tried to blow that lead was because they realized, oh shit, we're supposed to be tanking. And then when it got close, Washington realized, oh fuck, we're supposed to be tanking too. And that led to the Pistons pulling away at the end to win by 9 over Washington. So yeah, let's be honest though, tanking's kind of a crapshoot anyway in the NBA, especially with the fucking rigged draft lottery. But yeah, other than that, nothing really else to see from the Pistons here. Don't worry, folks. This season is almost over. Just 12 more days of this crap left. Only 2 more weeks of bad Pistons basketball. And then this season is finally mercifully over. With hopefully some change in the offseason. Hopefully that change results in Troy Weaver finally getting the fucking axe that he should have got months ago. Alright, the Wings have some solid momentum after last week getting the playoff push back on track. Now they gotta go to Washington, keep their foot in the gas, and Detroit, what in the literal fuck was that? Like, how the fuck did they lose to Washington in overtime? Like, they had that game won. But in the end, I think it just shows how bad of a coach Derek Malone is. He got completely outcoached by the fucking Capitals. As the Capitals wanted it more and got it in overtime. And then Detroit went on, and what did Detroit do with that momentum? They took it and got completely steamrolled by Carolina in Carolina against the Hurricanes, brother. And what they do with that? They went to Florida and lost in the shootout to the Panthers. So yeah, 3 games. So yeah, on this road trip, this was a road trip the Red Wings could not afford to go flat on, and they gone flat on. See, after getting it right back on track, the light switch was on. Now it's been flicked off again. As now Detroit is now on a 4-game losing streak. God fucking damn it. Just when it looked like the Wings had some sliver of hope, nope, total collapse again. Like, honestly, this is more evidence why fucking Derek Malone should be fucking fired after this season. And his job might be on the hot seat as maybe, just maybe, that Red Wings' next head coach might have just become available, as Sergei Fedorov is officially fucking off from Russia. I'll be honest, I don't see Fedorov coming back to Detroit. Especially with how him and the Wings didn't leave on good terms. Like, I'll be honest, the only way Fedorov comes back to Detroit is if his jersey number is hanging up in the rafters. That is literally the only way. I'll be honest, I think the only GM that could probably bend the bridge between Yzerman and the Red Wings is probably, between Fedorov and the Red Wings is Yzerman. And I don't know if anyone wants to trust Yzerman right now, especially since Derek Malone was Yzerman's guy. And Malone has been nowhere near as advertised. As it seems like Derek Malone has just been single-handedly carried by John Cooper this whole time in Tampa Bay. Just pretty disappointing. And it's disappointing enough to this point now to where I'm not even putting the Red Wings in the spotlight. No, you're not going to be in the headlines for the Detroit Sports Weekly recaps no more. I am not rewarding the Red Wings mediocrity anymore. Now you're no longer being the headline. I'm giving it to the Tigers, because even though we don't know what the fuck the Tigers are, they at least earned it this week. All I say to Red Wings is, if you want to be the focus of my Detroit Sports Weekly recaps for the next couple weeks, well, you got 8 games left. Go earn it back in 8 games. As yeah, there are 8 games left. The Wings are now chasing Philadelphia for that 8th and final playoff spot. And Detroit has a game at hand against Philadelphia. Well, on the other hand, Washington has a game at hand over Detroit. And oh yeah, Washington and Detroit still play each other one more time this year. And Detroit's next 6 games are against playoff contenders, as their last 2 games of the season are against the Canadiens in Montreal. Very promising Red Wings season really went downhill pretty fast. Very frustrating. Now we get to the only Detroit team that really wasn't frustrating at all this week, the Tigers. As yeah, MLB season has officially opened, and there were questions about the Tigers after their strong spring training. A spring training that ended with the Tigers and the Tampa Bay Rays tying 3-3. So Tigers had a really strong spring training. The question is, would that carry over into the regular season? And after the first series of the season against Chicago, against the Chitoilet White Sox, that answer currently is yes. And another question was Javi Baez was sandbagging the entire spring training to explain his suckitude? And after the first game, it looked like he was sandbagging, as Javi Baez had a really good first game, which saw the Tigers win 1-0 against Chicago. And then after that, Javi Baez went back to being vintage Javi Baez. Just complete ass. So it's like, no, he's just sad. He just sucks. And he might go down as one of the Tigers' worst free agent signings of recent memory. But despite that, the Tigers still had some pretty good, strong support in the other 2 games against Chicago, as they were able to get the series win on Saturday with a 7-6 win in extra innings. And then they followed it up Sunday with a 3-2 win to seal the sweep. So yeah, all 3 games, they beat Chicago by 1 run. But the Tigers still swept the first series of the season against Chicago. And hey, anytime you beat Chicago, it doesn't matter by how much. Anytime you beat Chicago or sweep their ass out, it's always a good day. But yeah, the Tigers start their season 3-0. Which is the first time the Tigers have started a season 3-0 since 2016. Like I said, we can't really gauge the Tigers right now until 50 games down the line. But so far, pretty promising start so far from the Tigers, as they really got the season started right on the right track. Had a really good spring training, and they carried it over all the way to the first series of the season against Chicago to open the year. Whether that momentum continues in New York against the Mets and then the home opener against the Athletics, yet to be seen this week. Like I said, we can't really gauge them until probably 50 games in the season, so probably not till the end of May or early June. But yeah, so far, a lot of positives to take out of Tigers. And you know what's sad right now? When Red Wing fans have completely checked out for Tigers baseball. Never thought I'd ever say that sentence, but hey, if the shoe fits, I guess. And also, the Tigers, their wins should be rewarded pretty thoroughly. Have a new home run celebration of some Little Caesars pizza on a spike. Last year, the celebration was a Red Wings helmet and scoring a ball right into an empty net. This year, it's pizzas on a spike. Maybe someday Chris Illich will get his head out of his ass and take that fucking Little Caesars pizza money and invest in the fucking team instead of being a cheap ass. But you can only dream, damn it. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up here. The Tigers were the only real positives out of Detroit this week. Because the Pistons tank continues on and the Red Wings continue to frustrate everybody. Especially considering that a month ago they had a 72% chance at making the playoffs. And now they have barely a 20% chance. Yeah, that's how much one bad month can do to your playoff hopes. That's why we've always said every game matters. And in March, the Wayne sure as hell didn't treat every game in March like it fucking mattered. But yeah, just pretty disappointing on the Red Wings front. But hey, at least the Tigers look promising right now. And then the Tigers could use some of that momentum right now, especially since the Tigers are going to be the only Detroit sports team we're going to have throughout the summer months until football season begins in September. Speaking of football season, outside the draft recaps, I am going to be doing I am going to be doing the Detroit Lions offseason recap probably by Friday to recap the free agency offseason as we head into the draft now. It's April, which means it's draft month. We're about 3-4 weeks out from the draft, 3.5 weeks out from the draft. Looking forward to it. So yeah, I think that wraps it up. Hope it was a great day, and yeah, Tigers baseball's back, and it looks like they're starting the season off on the right foot. Will it could carry over? That's to be determined. I'm out.